Okay, good afternoon. Thank you very much for being here. This is another outstanding announcement coming from the federal government pertaining to the National Resiliency Disaster Competition Grant, in which Springfield competed across the country with major states, major cities, and major areas. We are the only city alone in New England to receive this grant, working with our partners. And before I go into the speaking agenda, let me introduce some elected officials that are here. I know we're joined by City Councilor Tom Ash. Tom, thank you for being here. City Councilor Adam Gomez from Senator Warren's office. Everett Anthony, thank you very, very much for being here. From Senator Markey's office, Ahmad, we appreciate you being here very much, and I hope I didn't miss anybody else here. Okay. Now, today, this all evolves around our recovery from the devastating tornado of 2011. So we're being recognized for how not only we handled, Team Springfield handled the recovery and the rebuilding of that devastating tornado of 2011, but we're also being recognized for putting plans and projects together in a preventative way, and it's really a testament to the dedication and the professionalism of our internal team here, which I'll be singing their praises, and the partners who have stepped forward. But at this point in time, I'd like to bring up Kristine Foye, who's the regional administrator from HUD, to make this major announcement. And we couldn't have done this alone, obviously. Congressman Neal has always been steadfast, once a mayor, always the heart of a mayor, of course working with Senator Warren and Senator Markey, but Richie's always been the go-to guy in that, and Congressman Neal will be speaking after that. And then I will have Kevin Kennedy on some of the projects, and also with our internal group. And then our partners, we're very honored to have Dr. Mark Keroack, who leads one of the great hospitals here in the country, Bay State Medical Center, and Nick Fyntrilakis, Vice President of Mass Mutual, Mass Mutual's always been there for well over 160 years. So before I let the cat out of the bag, let me turn it over to Kristine Foye to make the announcement. Put your hands together for Kristine Foye.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here today with Mayor Sarno and Congressman Neal to make a funding announcement related to the city's disaster recovery and resiliency. The funding, as Mayor Sarno mentioned, the funding is being awarded under the National Disaster Resiliency Competition, which was one of the toughest competitions in HUD's history. There was $1 billion available through the competition, which launched in the fall of 2014, with the goal of helping communities hit by natural disasters build back stronger and to be better prepared for the future. Between 2011 and 2013, there were 209 federally declared disasters in the country, including 5 here in Springfield. There were 67 eligible applicants, which included 48 states plus DC and Puerto Rico, and 17 local governments like Springfield. Of these 67 eligible applicants, only 13 grants are being awarded under this competition. Springfield beat out a lot of people nationwide, and they should be proud that they're the little engine that could. Last April, on the 4th anniversary of the tornado, I visited the city with the mayor and the congressman to see some of the rebuilding progress, and I was really impressed at how far the city had come. But this funding we're announcing today will go a long way in completing the rebuilding process while increasing resiliency to future storms. So with all that being said, I'd like to announce today that the City of Springfield is receiving $17 million. I believe somebody later will be talking about how the funding will be used. Okay. So before closing, I just want to take a second to acknowledge Bob Shemako and Paula Newcomb from HUD. They're the people who work most closely with the city. They're the ones responsible for our great partnership with the city. So I just want to acknowledge them. So again, I just want to congratulate Mayor Sarno and his team for working collaboratively with federal, state, and local partners on all the progress that's been made to date, and for making a long-term commitment to resiliency. You really should be proud. Congratulations.
Well, before we get into the exacts of how we're going to leverage this $17 million, it's important that the conduit and the liaison, or the individual that constantly delivers as the dean of the New England delegation, Congressman Neal, working with all the senators and various, our two senators, Warren and Markey, and all the various congressmen, near and dear to his heart, obviously, Springfield. And a go-to guy, and we're very appreciative for his efforts and able to garner this $17 million. So put your hands together for Congressman Richie Neal.
Thank you. This is really very exciting news, in partnership with the federal government. And a reminder that so much of the work that we do in governance is really technical in nature. And the difficulty with that is that much of it's formulaic. A lot of government spending is really locked in at the federal level. It's Social Security, it's Medicare, it's veterans benefits, and then you have some discretionary spending. And if you take that to the state, it's reflected in the same comments that Governor Baker made last night, or Mayor Sarno would know that after you get done with collective bargaining agreements, and when you get done with the obligations you have in day-to-day governance, that discretionary spending is fairly limited. So in this instance, I think that we're reminded that it was the competent response of the city in the aftermath of the tornado that made this demonstration of federal partnership able to take place. And I would go so far as to say another reminder for all of us that there is opportunity in crisis. And I would say to you what I always said to my own children: when you reach your potential expands. And I think that's what we're witnessing today. The federal government in partnership, and a word of thanks to Secretary Foye and her staff, because they shepherd these applications through, monitor and review, and make recommendations. And I had a chance to talk with the Secretary about a month ago at the request of the mayor, by the way, on another topic.
Yeah.
But we got around to this, as you might expect. And what's important is to remember that the city received tens of millions of dollars in the aftermath of that tornado. So now it's our obligation, I think, to make sure that the wise expenditure of the public purse in long-term investment on behalf of the city is where you want to be. And I know with Kevin Kennedy, who worked with me for 26 years, I know that there's going to be a lot of special pleaders for this money. And I would hope that as we anticipate its expenditure, that workforce training comes to mind, education comes to mind, infrastructure comes to mind, housing comes to mind, long-term investments that are not necessarily glitzy when you walk or drive by them because you can no longer see the sewer that's just been put back into the ground, or you can't see the dam repair work that'll take place with Bay State Medical. But again, the wise investment of the public purse. And I think that's what we're going to acknowledge today. So congratulations to the professional grant writers here as well, the individuals who really made sure that this application was able to shine, because a congressman and two senators can help. There is no doubt about that. But not to miss the point, the application has to stand up under the critical analysis of the magnifying glass. And then you can take it to the next level, and that's what we did here today. So congratulations to the mayor and his staff. Word of thanks to HUD and to the professional staff that's with us today. Nicely done.
Thank you. Well, speaking of that, again, I want to highlight not only our partners, and again, Dr. Keroack, who heads Bay State Medical Center, and Nick Fyntrilakis, who is Vice President of Mass Mutual, will be speaking on behalf of the partners. But I am just so proud of our internal team. Tested and true, not only with urban challenges, but disasters that have occurred, and 24/7. And they prove themselves. And I want to first of all single all of them out before I bring up Kevin Kennedy and our partners who have, this money, the $17 million, really helps us leverage about $80 more million. I think the congressman had mentioned priorly, it's almost $100 million when you look at it. $25 million in project investments, and about another $80 million on other aspects that are going on the leverage on it. So, on the internal team, Kevin Kennedy, who has been involved in a multitude of projects and has given me great wisdom and advice, and really one of the best nuts and bolts guys around. Kevin, thank you very much for your efforts. My Chief of Staff, Denise Jordan, who worked very hard on this committee. Now, I'm going to call them the Chicago, D.C. Trio here. You had my Housing Director, Jerry McCafferty, Mr. DPW himself, Chris Signoli. They could use you in D.C. now. You're staying right here. And Tina Quagliato. Crossing the T's, dotting the I's when it comes to this money is Kathy Bunno, our administrator, when it comes to the Wizard of Oz himself, Pat Sullivan. Parks and Facilities. Bob the Builder, Pete Garvey, my capital. TJ Plant is representing me at the MMA, and Jen Winkler, Jen's police now, my budget director. The elegant and eloquent Commissioner of Health and Human Services, Helen Carlton Harris. Brian Connors, you should be up here. You're sitting over there. Brian Connors, our Deputy Director, Echo Dev. I see, oh, Jimmy Rooney's in town. Did you bring us money from Boston? I know you're working for Boston now. Great. Building Commissioner Steve Desolette. So, and all the internal team, let's give them a big round of applause. I might be missing some others. Not only dedicated, you heard it from Secretary Foye, Kristine, professionalism, utmost, highly competitive grant, and that's right, Springfield, Massachusetts won it, going up against some heavyweights, so they should be commended. We had many, thank you. Many partners. I see that Kathy Peterson, Josh Schimmel, the new incoming director, there's Josh. They're part of this team here, and that's going to be probably leveraging about $55 million in projects that we have going on. Of course, I had mentioned before Dr. Mark Keroack with Bay State, and Kevin will speak a little more specifically, cogeneration, and then we're at the Water Shops pond on the hydro. Developed Springfield, Jay Moncera. I know Jay's here. Where's Jay? Jay, thank you. Mr. Planner himself, the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, Timmy Brennan, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. You're always there for us. Another partner. Partners for Healthier Community, Jessica Collins, Sarita Hudson, thank you. Regional Employment Board, that goes with what the Congressman mentioned about workforce development. David Cruz, another partner. Reed Green Springfield, I don't know if Dave Blonars is here. Reed Green Springfield's a partner. Where is he here? You're not out planting trees? Okay. And Jonathan and William Berg. And then Tech Foundry, again, we're moving for innovation and entrepreneurism, and Delcy Bean and Jonathan Edwards have been. Is Delcy here? Did I see Delcy? Oh, there's Delcy right there. Northeast Climate Center of Change, UMass Amherst, and that's Dr. Richard Palmer, another partner. We appreciate that. I also want to thank the state, Secretary Beaton. They're part of this with combined $2.4 million with Mass Mutual partnering with us. The consultants, as Congressman mentioned, GCR, Inc., and GZA, which have been very good consultants helping us out. Tom Jenkins and Robin Freeman. And with that, before I turn it over to Kevin Kennedy, the categories that we won on, clean and redundant energy, which again I spoke about the hydropower, which will be looking at Water Shops Pond, and also the cogeneration, which is extremely important for Bay State Medical System. Again, the only level 1 trauma hospital this side of the state, one of the top hospitals in the country, and we're also going to continue to pursue that Van Horn Dam. We talked about we continue to rebuild, which we have nearly all rebuilt, but we still want to address safe and healthy rental housing, those homes that were damaged, 1 to 4 units, affordable housing stock. We'll address that. We talk about business and job opportunities. As you know, we're creating a hub of innovation and entrepreneur center, and that's going to help out with that. And then the community engagement aspect, conservation type things, which I know Dave Blonars appreciates, our tree cover and things along those natures. So those are the 4 categories that HUD has awarded this over $17 million to us, and we're using it again. We're leveraging this to be nearly over $100 million with projects and investments, commitments from our partners moving forward. To speak more specifically on that, Kevin Kennedy will come up, and then we will close with Dr. Keroack and Nick Fyntrilakis. Kevin?
Thank you, Mayor, Congressman, everybody gathered here. The real key to this, I think, was about resiliency. That was the nature of the grant, and repair and resiliency is the way I would describe it. And before I go into this, I've got to admit the people standing behind me are really the ones that did all the work. And when we sat down for meetings, the woman that led us through the meetings is Tina Quagliato. And Tina, here we are. As I said to her on the phone when we got news of the grant, her job's safe, so that's good. But on the resiliency and the type of things that we thought about in the background as to maybe some of our success, and Kristine can maybe attest to this, and the mayor mentioned some of this, but you look at Bay State Medical and Bay State, and I'm sure Mark will talk about this in more detail, but they don't have any backup power. And with this, between a partnership between us and them, there'll be a cogeneration facility. In case of an emergency, that hospital will still maintain power, which is critical for everything. They're also downstream from Van Horn Dam, and if we ever get rid of that dam ever falls down, so doesn't Bay State, so we're going to have to fix that. And the other part where the tornado came through, right up through right up through Lake Massasoit, 1 Allen Street, that's a source of hydropower. And what we'll do with the hydropower is it will be redundant power for the new Brookings School. In case of an emergency, we lose power, Brookings School will still stay up, and it can serve as a shelter for people in the neighborhood. In addition to that, you have things like housing that obviously in need of repair. You've got workforce development that's very, very critical, and with Delsey's group over there at Tech Foundry, we'll be training a number of people in the IT workforce area. So I think if you look at the total, and we'll be able to talk about more detail when we get debriefed by HUD as to where the money will actually go. But the real background and the basis of why our application was successful was just what I just said, and it's about resiliency, and it's about the ability to recover from a disaster and stay up and running in a disaster, because as you know, from the tornado and from the snowstorm of 2011, the city is really the citizens depend on the city to stay up and running. So it's a credit to all of us. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. You know, during that time, let me clarify that Bay State does have some backup power. I'm sure Mark was going to, but we want to make sure, if anything, I saw Mark cringe there a little bit. You know, Kevin was just generalizing on that. Throughout all the natural and man-made disasters we faced, and I see that the residents and neighborhood councils are here, it's really been the people that kept us going, the team here and others from top to rank and file kept us going 24/7. And the residents played a role in these grants. It was extremely important that they backed us too about what their interest was to rebuild. But I'll never forget, maybe it was a couple of weeks after the tornado had hit, we already had in our mind, thank God nobody was killed in Springfield. I know we had about 38 to 40 serious injuries. But we already had formulating in our mind a rebuild plan. And then we said, not only rebuilding the tornado-ravaged area, but why not look for a master plan for the whole city area? And we engaged over 3,000 residents, probably the largest ever done in the city's history, to be part of that plan. So now, you know, through those toiling days and nights, we see that there's a silver lining to those storm clouds coming forward. But we couldn't do it without partners, and I wanted to make sure I named all our partners, but two outstanding corporate citizens that Springfield has always been able to count on, and that's Bay State Health System, Bay State Medical Center, again, the only Trauma 1 level hospital in this region, one of the top hospitals in the country, and Mass Mutual, which has been here well over 160 years. No matter what we need, they're always there for us. So to give that perspective, and again, there is backup power. Put your hands together for the leader of Bay State Medical Center, Dr. Mark Keroack. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. And I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor and Congressman Neal, personally for the leadership you showed in this, and Kevin Kennedy and Denise Jordan for all the energy you put into this process. I have to say, having come to my job after practicing medicine for 20 years, when people start talking to me about facilities and building and dams and power plants, my eyes kind of glaze over. But but when folks came to me and said, here's a way to access federal money to make the organization safer, make the public safer, improve public health, improve energy efficiency, and improve the quality of life of folks in the neighborhoods of Atwater Park and Van Horn, I said, wow, this is really, really very impressive. And so I think it's been extremely creative and, to use the word of the day, resilient. I think the folks that put this grant together used a tremendous amount of creativity and flexibility. They took the lemons we had been given and made lemonade out of it. I know that when I first came back, I grew up in Springfield and was away for about 40 years and came back to town in 2011. And in my first 6 months back, there were 3 of those natural disasters: the the tornado, Hurricane Irene, and the October blizzard. I thought I was living under a curse there for a while. But it's really great to see Springfield bounce back like I knew it would, and it's really a testament to the hard work and the passion of those of us who call this city home. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Again, whether it's in education, economic development, insurance, you name it, Mass Mutual has stood tall for the city of Springfield for well over 160 years, a top 100 Fortune company right here in their home and where they were created in Springfield, Massachusetts. So put your hands together, Vice President Nick Fyntrilakis.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Congressman and officials from HUD for this really great announcement today and for including us. I had the pleasure to serve as the co-chair of the Rebuild Springfield effort with Jerry Hayes and engage in a lot of those conversations and the hard work. And I would say that one of the most important things I took away from that experience was that this team of folks, men and women assembled here representing the city of Springfield in a professional capacity, are outstanding public servants, and it's a testament to them. A testament to them that this was successful, this application was successful. As a funder, it was a no-brainer for us, quite frankly. We had an opportunity to leverage, as the mayor and Kevin shared, tens of millions of dollars to bring to the city of Springfield to address critical needs with regard to disaster resiliency. And so as a funder, we certainly like opportunities in which we're not the only funding source at the table, and the fact that we can leverage and partner with our colleagues at Bay State Health and others to bring in resources to the community. So it was just a wonderful opportunity. And I think representing other employers in the region, Bay State Health is so important to us as our level 1 trauma center. God forbid there's an issue. We need Bay State to be up and running at all times and ready to go, which it always is. But we need to ensure that that's the case for the future. And so for us, to ensure the safety of our employees and their families in our community, this was just a win-win opportunity for us to engage and provide some modest support to this really terrific effort. So we're pleased to be a part of it and honored to have the opportunity. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Congressman, and congratulations.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you. Again, I hope I didn't miss everybody. I really wanted to name because it's a team approach here. It's Team Springfield, and again, we're very appreciative to Secretary Foye and obviously Congressman Neal on this grant and all our partners for being able to obtain this money. It's quite a testament, again, not only to the dedication of the city team here and all team, but especially the city team, but the professionalism, a highly competitive grant. And when you look at the detailed information that comes out with the formalized press release, we competed against heavyweight states, heavyweight cities, heavyweight regions and counties. And again, Springfield was the only one in New England city to receive this major grant award. So to everyone involved, thank you so much. I don't know if you have any questions. The specialists are here, but another good news announcement as we continue to move the city of Springfield forward and continue to solve those urban challenges that urban America face. Thank you very, very much.